Hey, greetings today. This is Gary with Let It Be RV, and I'm going to try to address the difference in some terminology that we use while we're out there being full-timers or being preppers or being nomads. A prepper is somebody that's prepping. I talked to a lady about 6 months ago, and I asked her if she was a prepper, and she said, yes, I'm a prepper. And I'm prepping for something, but I don't know what it is. And that's kind of preppers. They are going to be, as the Boy Scouts would say, be prepared. So the last 3 places that I've stayed at, people have been saving food, storing food, canning food, and dehydrating food for future whatever. You know, we're in hard times right now. People talking about famine in the world and, you know, shelves being empty. And so how do we prep ourselves as nomads? That nomad, different than a prepper, is a nomad is a person that basically in their rig, in their RV, in my Toyota in this case, that you're out there, but you don't have any room to can goods. You don't want to carry a bunch of food and have a bunch of weight. So I asked this lady in Texas that I was at, and she's a prepper, been saving food for eons. I said, I wonder what the pioneers did. Well, we were dehydrating some food, and I said, I wonder what the preppers did, what the pioneers did to dry food. She said, oh, well, I can tell you because I used to do it. She said, we would just put stuff up on a pan and take it up on the roof and let the sun dry it. Boink, a light goes off. I am a nomad, prepper nomad. I got solar on my top of my rig. I love the power of the sun. I haven't plugged in but one time in 3 years. Everything I do is from the power of the sun, okay? So I got this idea. I said, why can't I, as a prepper, as a nomad, dry my own food? I said, okay, well, how do I do that? And I thought, well, I said, goodness gracious, when I'm sitting out in Arizona, and it's wintertime, but it still gets hot, and the sun's out all the time. I said, maybe I can dry food on my dash. So this is kind of the first thing that I bought, and you'll probably recognize it. It had spinach in it. So I opened it up, stuck some apples down in the bottom. Sure enough, 2.5 days, it was dry. I took them. I actually ate them. I took them and was going to put them in a jar. So I thought, okay, this is going to work. And so then I kind of wanted to step up my process a little bit, make it a little bit more professional, and you know, sanitation is really, really important. So the next thing that I purchased was this pan and a black piece of plastic so I could capture more heat. And sure enough, it worked, except for the fact that when the fruit evaporated, it condensated on the inside and started dripping down like rain on my food. Well, that's not good because we're trying to get the water out of the food, right? So then my sister actually came up with this brilliant idea. Let's cut a big hole, put some screen wire over it, protect it, keep the bugs out, and sure enough, it worked great. And in this process, as you can see below, I've done probably 2.5, 3 weeks worth of drying food. I've done things from apples to peaches to nectarines to pineapple. I've done some roast beef. I've got a bunch of elk from one of my nephews here, and I dried a bunch of beef jerky, and it worked fine. The meat actually was about 1.5 days. It dried up. I said, okay. You say, well, Gary, what do you do when you got all this food now? Well, you want to kind of store it. So I went and bought one of these manual pumps. You got a little pump, pumps it up. Okay, it's just like it's in water. And then I put one of these oxygen things in there, which absorbs the oxygen. And you can see, I kind of wanted to show, what I call is, this is my trail mix. I've got 4 or 5 different types of fruit in there. I bought some raisins, got some peanuts in there, and now it's stored. And so I'm going to store it in my rig. You can see that I can probably eat on this for quite a while. Okay. Now, you can also see in a standard kind of you see it advertised on TV a lot. You can see right down here, you've got this Patriot food, which you can order, which I got 2 bins of that. And so the whole point is, how do you utilize the power of the sun to store food if you're a nomad, if you're on the road, and maybe you can't find food? 20% of all the food in the United States is wasted. When I was in the Quartzsite, there were people that would go to the food bank. The food bank always gives away bags of apples, okay? Well, what happens to an apple if you don't take care of it? It gets bruised, it gets rotten. You didn't eat all the apples, just throw the apples away. I'm suggesting you cut off the bad part, save the good part, put it in the sun, even if it's something real simple like this. You don't need to get really elaborate, and you just dry some food, save the food for another time. Okay? So, I'm kind of out of breath. So that's it. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. I want to shout out to my Bitcoin partner, Seth, and my camera lady. She does a great job. My sister, Sue. I want to say goodbye to you for now. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was, subscribe to my site. Hit that little subscribe button and that little bell up there. So every time I post, I don't post that often. I usually post when I have something to say. Okay? And I want to say goodbye and God bless. Bye-bye.